Hi, this is Boss SL-2. It's a slicer. What does it mean? Well, it slices your sound, whatever you give it, in stereo, and makes kind of plucky percussive sounds of that original sound you fed it. It does so in 8 different ways. Those ways can be variated in 11 different ways. So you have, I guess, 88 different kind of slicing functions on this pedal. The thing is that these slices are or can be rhythmic. So you can have a rhythm going and alter it by adjusting these 2 knobs. This is, by the way, dry and wet signal. Now it's completely dry, and this attack is the volume of the initial attack wave. So let's set it in the middle, and this is completely dry. Let's listen, and I think this is the way to go, by listening. So this is the dry signal. Now this is type 1, variation 1. Let's increase the dry signal or decrease it and introduce the wet signal. Sounds like Morse, right? Now, if I adjust this or set it to 2, you have this rhythm going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this is 50% wet, 50% dry. Let's increase it to 100% wet. And now go backwards. This is number 8, 7, 6, 5, type number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1. Let's go to 7 and increase or set it the variation to variation number 2. Wow, a completely different signal. Number 3. Number 4. 5. And this is number 6. The 7th kind of variation. Variation number 8. Number 9. 10. A completely new melody. And finally 11. Yes, you get the idea, right? I have this Korg Nutect, which is a good companion to the Hive synth, which only have the keyboard. So let's try to do something with this slicer that will get your imagination moving. Okay, what do we have here? We have the tri-parallel mixer from Electro-Harmonix, which let you use 3 different loops in parallel, so they do not interfere with each other. So you can add a delay to a reverb without the reverb affecting the delay, for example. Now, this is loop 2, slicer into dark world, and then destroyer on its own. Let's just hear the dry signal. It's a recording I made recently in my last video, and I'm using this for a project, a current project. Now let's listen to the dry signal. Okay, now I would like to bring in the slicer. So this is channel 2 active, this is channel 1 inactive. I turn on this, it's dry. Increasing the wet signal. This is just a slicer. Let's turn on dark world. And now for some noise background, I use the destroyer fuzz distortion pedal. It's over the top, as you can see from the picture. Completely crazy. But I have turned the return and send down, so the signal is quite low. It just adds some noise in the background, which I find useful to add depth. Well, this is Eurorack with slicer. It's scanned with rings. Rings receiving some pitch data from Varigate 4 Plus. And that's basically it. There's no reverb. The reverb here is off, not involved. And the sound coming from rings is going directly into slicer. So no real effects on this except the slicer. But what you're hearing now is the dry sound. Now, the effect I've chosen for this particular slow ambient patch is a rather subtle one. Tremolo with effect or variation number 9. Now you're hearing the dry signal. Let's increase the wet one. Now you're hearing a slight pulsating sound in the background. That's very subtle, and it's just enough for this particular patch. So even though a slicer can be quite, I guess, persuasive and conspicuous, this can also work as a more subtle texture generator. This time around, I have Lemon Drop with a MIDI attached to slicer. Lemon Drop is sequenced by Korg SQ1, and I have set up the slicer pedal with an expression pedal. The expression pedal controls the wet and dry signal, and would like to use this example to show you how to express yourself using this simple setup. Now, To use an expression pedal with Boss Slicer, you need to attach this mono input cable, just this one, while holding the pedal switch down. In addition, before you do that, you have to turn every dial, every knob clockwise except this one. This should stay where it is now at number 6. Then when you put this in or plug this in, make sure to hold down the pedal switch at the same time, and this diode will start blinking orangish. And then you can control either duty, attack, tempo or balance using the expression pedal. And you choose which one you would like to control using the variation knob. And then you set the maximum and minimum values. Okay, I have set it to control balance. Now, let's listen to this little sequence that I have going and see how you can express yourself quite easily using this kind of simple setup. Okay, this is the sequence. This is the dry signal coming from lemon drop. This is the wet signal, 100%. So I would like to use the wet and dry signal to make this sequence more musical. So let's try that. I don't want this, and I don't want the complete dry signal, okay? I would like to add some percussive elements using wet and dry signal. So let's try to do that, starting about now. Now, you've seen what Boss SL-2 slicer can do. It can be subtle, it can be dominating, it is certainly percussive, and it works in different environments. It is offering stereo, it has MIDI, it has a USB connection, so you can swap the current slicing patterns with other ones using Boss Tone Studio. The price is $180 or euro, and given the form factor and all it has to offer, I think it is a really good pedal. Boss has done it again, as they say. And now I'm going to use Slicer on my voice. Of course it's possible, just listen. This is Slicer on my voice. This is Slicer on my voice. This is Slicer on my voice.